what's going on, people? Welcome to the Full View. Happy Sunday. Welcome to United View. It's hot. It's warm. It is warm in the UK, man. It's been 30 degrees worth of heat for the last few days. But this is what we do in this country. You know, we moan all the time. Miserable. It's too hot. It's this, it's that. But we ain't got no aircon, so it is hot. But big up to Marcel, big up to Rich, big up to KG, big up to Cam, big up to Owen, big up to every single one of you at home. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Obviously, we are late, and you know why we would have been late. You know why, of course.
KG had to find some clothes. That's what he needed to do.
Yeah.
You know,
and he still struggled.
There was discussion about, what clothes do I need to wear? And it said on the vest.
Yeah, no, it's too hot, bro. It's too hot. It is what it is. So, yeah.
Somebody said Lukaku straight from the gym.
You and women when I'm shooting in the gym. But actually, obviously we're smiling and all that now. But obviously, in terms of what we're going to be talking about, Ten Hag and Sancho United showdown talks. There are reports that Eric Ten Hag will be having face-to-face talks with Jadon Sancho. Obviously, I covered what happened with Anthony earlier on, so he's not going to be here at the minute while he's sorting out the allegations that have been made against him. So that's another player light. Sancho, at this current moment, we haven't heard or seen anything since that outburst against the Arsenal game. What we do know is that it is still pinned to the top of his Twitter. We do know that. But it's peak. It is peak. Like, what is going on? Marcel, you always obviously say, Fleck, 100% Fleck. He will come back. He will be world-class. He's going to win the Ballon d'Or, Fleck, at this football club. Like, that's usually something that... He hasn't said that. I'm just saying a Marcelism. He hasn't said that.
Okay, cool.
But do you see any positivity here, Marcel, of how Sancho can turn this around? Sancho and Ten Hag.
Well, he's currently still a Manchester United player. So, and all Ten Hag really asked of him is to raise his level. That's all that Ten Hag's really asked of him from this current stage, as we're looking at right now. All Ten Hag really asked of you is to raise your level in training and find your way back into the starting team. For me, it's the beginning of the season. It's a long old season. It's the beginning of the season. So, that's as far as I could go really in terms of the positive side of things. I think, a player of Sancho's ability should be maybe looking to get 20 goal contributions easily. So I don't know. I think obviously Sancho could do a lot better than what he's currently doing now. But I still think, I was one of the people to say that Sancho should be gone from last season though, and should have been sold.
Actually, yeah. Do you know what? Marcel has been one of the original not feeling Sancho FC camp for ages. You know?
Wow.
You have been.
So for me, I'd always kind of this is because of his performance level. Beyond everything else, the first season he came, less than 10 goal contributions, goals and assists. The second season, the exact same thing again. It's been 2 seasons of less than double figures goal contributions. So he needs to step his level up. This is his last season to really prove himself to us. And these things coming out in the media is part and parcel of that. But we'll see what happens.
KG, I have to say, we can't avoid this. They're saying the tank top.
I literally
called me. Wait, first of all, there's the Marcel one. Someone said Marcel looks like he's posing. Someone said Marcel streaming from the pearly gates of heaven, fam. And then he calling me Thick Diesel, fam.
Leave me alone, man. You're getting cooked, bro.
Someone was saying you should be in Rocky 3, which is a deep cut. That's club alone. I couldn't believe, honestly.
I'm getting cooked.
Why did you think you could come on here in a vest, though?
Honestly,
I can do whatever I want.
I know, I'm just saying. Yeah, I know, Rich, but like,
someone said I shouldn't be wearing a shirt like this in everything that the club's been. Yeah.
Nah, not even that. Just like, what? But why did you like? Why are you in here in a vest?
It's hot, bro. And I was making. I spoke to Owen before the show started. I was making Sunday roast for the family, fam. You think I'm gonna be next to the oven in a bloody?
Yeah, that's true. Bro,
come on, man. Even I don't even know you was barbecuing. How did you barbecue with all that? Like you were barbecuing in a proper tea, like you were doing
little t-shirt. You know what I mean? Apron. You know what I mean?
Good
Shorts.
food though. Big food.
Yeah, good food. 100%.
Yeah. Anyway,
these comments are outrageous. Honestly,
Professor X.
Professor X. XL.
Nah, they say he looks like a GTA character, mate.
Hey, listen, it's good thing I'm body confident in it.
That's right.
Kristen said,
"No one's looking. No one
tattoo-less flow rider."
About my
Oh,
hey, nobody cares about my mental health now, boy. Well, look at these people.
Protect your mental health, my brother.
It's because it's
and hugging that. Get out of here, fam.
It's because it's all in jest, man. It's all in jest. We do have a super chat.
It's fine.
Where are we at? Yeah, okay, there you go. I'm ready for the stream. Marcel and KG, the panel have been moving mad on the Sancho situation. KG with the Kimbo slice attire.
Someone said
Flo Niger.
That's it.
You're getting cooked. You are.
But listen,
you deserve that in your vest.
I don't give a damn. You lot must know that about me, surely.
Oh, you don't care, 100%.
I don't care. Should we talk about what you call it?
Let's go.
Let's talk about Sancho. Actually,
yeah.
There's some people saying that we shouldn't forgive Sancho until he takes the post down. Are you lot of that thinking that he should take the post down, this, that, and the other? I think he said what he said. What should you take it down for?
Yeah, it doesn't make no difference. It doesn't make no difference.
Well, if he leaves it up, it's difficult, isn't it? Because at the moment, it's not only still up, it's pinned. Okay, yeah. It's not only up, it's pinned.
Yeah. Man said, you have to see this.
When you go on my page, you're
gonna see this.
Yeah. And bear in mind, KG, he doesn't even tweet that much. There's no need to pin it. It'll still be the top tweet, but it's just a little bit as if to say, like, you know, it's like when you're at work. It's like when you're at work and you know you got the bulletin board and someone's been using your coffee cup. You don't go around to everyone going, someone use my coffee cup. You put it on the bulletin board and you say, someone's been using my coffee cup. Yeah. It's like that. It's a statement. Well, quite literally. It's a statement in several ways, isn't it? So I think it's a difficult one because Ten Hag can't just let it go. I don't think. You know, he's such an authoritarian, isn't he, about how he operates. It's difficult for him if he just went in the next press conference, they go, Eric, because that's the first question, isn't it? Eric, what's going on with Jadon? Even if he goes, he apologized. We've moved on. He'll be available for the game at the weekend, blah, blah, blah. But if they go, Pin still tweeted though, mate. It kind of undercuts a lot of things, doesn't it? But we were chatting about this the other day, Flex. What were you saying? Does Sancho come out and does Sancho put out another statement? Is there any merit in putting out another statement? Is there any merit in him talking anymore? Probably not.
Nah, not at all.
I've heard,
go on, Rich.
No, I was just going to say, I've heard people saying that if Ten Hag takes him back, because people have been likening it to the Ronaldo situation, which I actually think is completely different because Ronaldo's a bit older. He wants to leave, right? Sancho does not want to leave, as far as we know. So people are kind of saying,
he might. He might want to leave.
And people are saying if Ten Hag kind of lets him back into the team without properly punishing him or kicking him out of the team, then people are saying, it shows that Ten Hag doesn't have control of the team and all this kind of stuff. The club is not backing him. But I don't see it like that at all. I think he has to kind of bring him back into the team. And at this point, with, like you said, we're already a man light with Anthony as well. Sancho, he should have just not said nothing. And then it wouldn't have been like this.
Cam, where you at with where Sancho's at and how they sort it out?
He screwed up, but at the same time, I think Ten Hag's first priority and only priority is winning a football match. I think he's not going to sort of obsess too much over an Instagram post. I think they'll have a chat about it. I think the whole thing, it seems a bit weird because when Ten Hag first came out and said about Sancho's performances, for Sancho to come out and say something that says he hasn't been playing bad in training, they must have not have talked about it between each other, which is weird. Because surely the first thing you do if you're a player and your manager said that is you phone him up and say, hang on, what's going on here? Why have I not trained well? What's going on? Especially if you think you've trained well. Because United have analysts watching not just the games, but every training session as well. They're getting the data, they've got the GPS vests on, they've got everything. So if Ten Hag thinks Sancho's not played well, he's obviously not just made his own judgment with his eyes, but he will have also got the data on it. He'll be able to see everything about it. He may have even watched it back and seen that he's playing badly. So the evidence will be there. It will be factual if they've had a chat. But maybe it's one of them where Ten Hag sort of said, I'm going to say it and see if he comes to have a chat with me to know what he can do better. And I think by the looks of things, Sancho probably hasn't done that, which is maybe not the greatest sign of his character. Because I think for most players, if you're not in the team and you think you should be, you're going to go and ask the manager some questions.
What? So you think? What? So you think he didn't even tell him he weren't going to be in the squad?
No, I think he told him he wasn't going to be in the squad.
And the reasons why, though?
Well, I don't think in certain situations you might not do that. You might just pick your team and see if people that are left out come and say anything. It might come at a point where Ten Hag's trying different techniques with it. He might have said, right, this is the squad for the game. Sancho might have gone away and had a bit of a sulk and been like, why am I not in the squad? But you'd expect most players at that point go and ask the manager, hang on, what's going on? Why am I not playing? I'm better than this guy. I'm better than this guy. And then they can have a chat. But I think that's obviously not happened for whatever reason.
For me, you talk about a reaction. Sorry, Flex, just quickly. You talk about a reaction. It did say in the media, didn't they, that he was surprised from this reaction from Jadon Sancho, basically to suggest that he thought, when he got asked the question, that he thought, well, if I say this, I'll provoke a reaction, but a positive one internally, in that I've tried these other methods to try and get through to him, maybe speaking to him one-to-one, maybe not speaking to him one-to-one, maybe going hard on him and training, whatever it may be. He thought this might be a way to provoke a reaction, and it has, but not the proper way, shall we say.
Yeah.
He's probably tried speaking to him one-to-one plenty of times in the past, because last season he gave him pretty much every bit of support he possibly could. So he's probably up down to the last few ideas he's got at this point.
I think for me, though, I will say this. I think Ten Hag still needs to keep strong on this. So let's say we know what's happened with Anthony, yeah? So instantly we're saying we ain't got a right winger, but, you know, Facundo, we want him to play, but, you know, in terms of starting right winger, he's gone now for the foreseeable, where we don't know when he's going to come back, yeah? So we know that Garnacho's not great from there. We know that Rashford's not great from there. What I don't want to see is Sancho fast-tracked back into the squad because this has happened and we're a player light. And I don't think Eric Ten Hag will do that. Eric Ten Hag still needs to keep the same values, rules, principles that he always does, regardless of whatever situation.
Oh, what if he does the Bruno?
Yeah, he might. He might. He might.
He probably will.
But guess what, KG? Against
I
Brighton,
don't think it will be.
Yeah, I don't think. But even if he does do that, I'm saying out of principle to show all the other players that I'm still in control. If we have to play Bruno on the right because of this, and because I don't think Facundo's ready, or if Mount's ready, if he's back, whatever, then so be it. I can't just fast track Jadon Sancho. The man put out a post, bro, talking crazy. Like, we're not just gonna. Because something else happens.
I'm not gonna lie,
No, that doesn't mean it won't be easily sorted. But he can't be in the next match day squad. He has to set. Put it this way: Ronaldo, done that thing where he left the thing. He was out. What was it 2 games? He missed Chelsea.
He was fined, wouldn't he? And he missed Chelsea definitely. I think it was Chelsea.
He missed 1 game. So they went. It's going to be a fine, and it's going to be 1 game. What needs to happen with this is from the jump, Eric Ten Hag or whatever the reports say needs to say Sancho's going to be fined X amount of thing for the wages, and he's going to be missing for 2 games. Then he's back in. That's what I need to see happen. He can't just come back from. You can't, because then Ten Hag's going to be like, he's going to be belittled. Is he in control or is he not? He can't be half. You can't be. You got to be all in, bro. You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. All of that stuff. You have to be. If you're in control and you're authoritarian, you're setting levels. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter. Even if Sancho's got a point, it doesn't matter. If he believes that he's in the wrong, and Ten Hag's like, you're taking the piss, then he can't do it. It's not about Flex trying to not use them backstage.
What if there's a conversation
about our manager being continuous with what he's done since the start?
What if there's a conversation that takes place in this next, as the players are coming back and they have a conversation, let's say on Monday, you still see no way for him to start on the weekend?
No, are you crazy?
No, because he's broken the rules. He's broken the rules, right? Exactly. Ten Hag has rules and principles. This must be a break of those rules and principles in one way or another. So he has to be punished. He has to be disciplined, right? It's just the way it goes. You know, you've broken this rule. Everybody has to see that it's a standard. There's a standard that has to be met. If you haven't met that standard, you get punished. Mm-hmm. So look at Rashford. He dropped Rashford because he was a couple of minutes late, right? And okay, fair enough. He dropped him to the bench. He didn't completely drop him. Sancho is already on the bench, so he's got to go out of the team.
Yeah, and he'd already dropped him. For not performing well enough in training, as well as that. So I agree. I don't think he can. Sancho He can't at the very least, he cannot start against Brighton just because circumstance dictates that. You know, he's going to have to be like minimum he's on the bench, but I'd be surprised if that, because rightfully so, other people in the squad that have probably had similar infractions, not to the extent of Sancho posted something on social media, but we don't know what's happened in the last 12 months. There might be people that didn't make a match day squad because their training performance wasn't good enough, or like in the case of Rashford, he was dropped to the bench because he was late. Like Ronaldo, he was fined. Wasn't he technically suspended, I think, for a week or something like that? Or trained to train for walking out or whatever. So they would say, well, what's the difference between that situation and this situation? 100%. And he just needs to be like blanket, you know, it is what it is. I don't think it's as far as, there's no coming back for Sancho, because I think what is something that's interesting is there was reports last night saying this too, is that Ten Hag is surprised how much this has escalated in such a short period of time. Because you think about the initial thing, his comments of being asked by whoever asked it in that press conference why he wasn't Sancho in the squad, and he go back and listen to what he said, because he didn't like throw Jadon Sancho under the bus. Sancho's rubbish, he's terrible. He just said, look, I've got these people to pick from, and based on training performances, I pick who's in the squad. That's it. And that has escalated and snowballed so much now into will he ever play again? Moves to Saudi clubs, you know, offers going in, all this kind of stuff. It's kind of got ridiculous. And I think maybe not only for Sancho could it be a learning curve, but it can be a learning curve for Ten Hag, because he can realize, like, not only I knew I had to be careful with what I said, but I've got to be really careful with what I said, because if I give these guys not even an inch, like a millimeter, they will take it and blow it up into the biggest story possible. And you just can't. Sometimes it's not even like he's being pally, or like maybe he's being honest with the press. Sometimes maybe you can't, because it will blow up into something bigger. Keep it always in house.
I agree, and that's why I just think just because there's been a situation with Anthony and we're a player like Eric Ten Hag will shoot himself in the foot and look weak if Sancho just walks back in. It can't just be a conversation, KG, and he says sorry. Yep, cool. Brighton on the weekend. I'm glad you come in and said sorry. There has to be some sort. Where's the consequence? If Ten Hag believes this is wrong, which he obviously will do, you can't do that to the manager. You can't.
But if they give him, if they say that they find him, find him, would you not be comfortable with that? No.
I think it does depend though.
They told me they find him and they're handing it outside.
I say you gotta miss the game, man. You gotta miss it. You gotta be out of the squad.
It depends how badly Ten Hag views it. How badly Ten Hag views it, really. That's all.
That means you're saying that money. That means you're saying that money, when they're all rich, can make the things go away.
And it's double.
I can piss the manager off, and I can pay my way out of the flipping sanction. That's what that's basically what you're saying.
And it's not even.
No, well, first things first.
Go on, Marcel.
I would say first things first. It's about what Ten Hag originally said the issue was. Has he reached the level? Has Sancho come back and is fit and ready to play? If he's ready to play, then you look at him and you evaluate him for Brighton. But you still, I agree with you guys. You
even if he trains good. So say they come back after the national break, and he's the best player in training, nutmegging people, trying hard. He should just get back in for Brighton.
You see, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing, though, Flex. It won't. I doubt he's going to be able to produce that level if it's been consistently so far this season. He's reached the level that he's reached, and Ten Hag saying he's not been the caliber that's required to play for the club. So in 2 weeks, I just don't think that's going to change the behavior. But I would agree if someone's saying if you look at the end of 2 weeks, he's been good enough, then you play him, I think, against Brighton. But that's just not going to happen. So you're kind of stuck with a player that's just not motivated to do what Ten Hag wants him to do. Thus far, anyway. Like I've been saying, Ten Hag didn't criticize him heavily. I agree with Owen. He didn't criticize him heavily. All he said is you have to raise your level to be a starting player or to be called up for the squad. You have to reach a certain level. If he's going to come out against that and try and undermine the manager, but even you're a football player, players have to play. So he should have thought about upping his playing level first before talking in the media. He hasn't done that. He's taken the wrong decision, and this is what happens. So I think he'll be on his way out. If he does not make 20 goal contributions this season, I think he'll be on his way out. And he should be, because this is his third season now where it's been less than double figures for 2 seasons prior to this. So for that kind of money, for that kind of wages, it's looking very slim for him. You know, he has to start telling them now. If it's not going to be against Brighton, then it has to be against Bayern Munich. I mean, we've got 4 games. It's going to be. It's like we got every 4 days. It's a game. every 4 days it's a game.
We ain't got time. We ain't got time. Can I jump in with what you're saying, Marcel?
Yeah.
We haven't got time to be doing this off the field nonsense. Right now, we're getting into serious, like, you can see how the media want to write off Ten Hag and this, that, and the other. He has to almost get the dressing room, not like because I still think the dressing room's on side, but there's going to be more noise from outside as they want to do. What Ten Hag's going to do, and probably it's most likely it's been handled. The next time you hear from Ten Hag, he's going to say the matter has been handled. He don't even tell us what's going on. The matter's been handled. We've had a conversation, and then we move. Because if you waste time trying to just cut off your nose to spite your face, it doesn't help anyone. Right now, what we're talking about is them boys know who's in charge. He doesn't have to send a message. Again, the players that needed to be there, the players that were supposed to be going out the team, they don't play. He wanted to send a message to the Ronaldo message, and he gave Ronaldo a chance. When Ronaldo went home the first time pre-season, he still said, listen, all the players could have done better. They know what to do. And he still tried to give him like the space. Now it's like he's going to be on some, guys, it's finished. We move. You probably see him in the match day squad. If he scores, I hope there's a little run towards each other and they move on with their lives.
What you think that he wants it to go quickly, so he'd just be like he's in the squad against Brighton?
I'm saying that we have to move forward, bro. We have to move forward.
What he said. That's what he said after the Ronaldo and the Rashford incident. After they had happened, and he spoke to the media, he did say we've moved on, but there have to be punishments. There have to be consequences for the actions.
100%.
Because again, it's twofold, isn't it? Because like Marcel was just pointing out, the initial issue in the eyes of Ten Hag is that he's not training well enough. On top of then a disciplinary issue that he's spoken out against the manager. So you would also say, well, one, that there's got to be some, I guess the punishment last week was being left out of the squad because he didn't train well enough. But even when he comes back tomorrow, he's got to have a good week of training. And who's to say he can get to that level that Ten Hag's looking for anyway, on top of, then you've got to have the consequence and the punishment of speaking out against the manager on social media. It's dragged out for even longer now. KG's talking about quick resolution. When did this happen? A week ago? We've had no resolution. I know there's been an international break, but this still could have probably been sorted much quicker if there was initial communication, and it's kind of been left to sort of simmer away, hasn't it? And again, it's still continuing to be a thing. And even if they have those talks tomorrow, it's hashed out, it's done. It's like with anything, isn't it? When you have those kind of things, you go, right, we've cleared the air now. They'll have to be like, but there's got to be a consequence. You can't get away scot-free. I have to know that you understand what you did wrong, and you have to be punished because, like Rich said earlier, those are the rules, and the rules have to be there. Otherwise, if I allow one person to be above them just because we're desperate at the situation for a player on the right-hand side, then you might have a player like Facundo Pellistri going, wait a minute, this whole argument is meant to be centered around favourites in the first place, and the player's being favorited because he's the highest paid player and we need someone on the right-hand side. Then it gets back to fairness once again, doesn't it?
100%. And what for me, what example, Kobe Mainoo's about to break through. Garnacho's had his issues already. Yeah. What example would that set to the precedents of them young kids who are coming in if you can say something about the manager live in front of however many million followers you got, and then you could just train hard and then just get in the team next game? That's insane. That's insane. But don't you think that that's what's going on though? That's what if Jadon Sancho goes to training on Monday morning, and he's wicked. Yeah. And he's wicked all the way through the week up until we play Brighton. We're just not going to talk about that. What do you mean? Whoa. What about that?
But the punishment has to fit the crime, doesn't it? There's not the only punishment is like leaving him out of the squad. There's other things you can do. Like if maybe Ten Hag makes him come in and have like apologize to the whole squad and stand up at the front in the team meeting or whatever. There's other ways to do it. Get fined as well. I don't
think so, man. Not with this. I think
if Sancho's the best player in training all week, Ten Hag's job is to win football matches. He's not going to not pick the person that's been the best in training.
But then you can say the same thing for when Rashford got dropped to the bench, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I think that's maybe a little bit different in the sense that if you've been picked and you have the privilege of starting the game, if you then don't turn up for the team meeting for that game, if you're late, then maybe that's a particular rule they've got. I don't know. But maybe in certain situations you can be a bit more flexible.
Should do a poll on this, actually.
But let's be honest here. Let's be honest with that then. We're saying, well, if he comes in and he's the best player in training all week, Do we even think at this stage in his Man United career, is that a possibility? Is he
That's
really
what
going to go from what Ten Hag perceives as 0
that's what I'm saying.
to like 100 in this short period of time? Do we think he's even capable of doing that at this point?
Yeah,
I can't.
And do you know what, guys?
Go on.
Do you know what, guys? You know, Ten Hag will end up, and Ten Hag will still sell him anyway. Ten Hag will still sell Sancho come the end of the season.
I still want my boy to stay.
He'll just play the strongest side. He'll play the strongest side, and if Sancho's part of that in the coming weeks, because it's a busy September, he'll just play the strongest side, and Sancho gets sold during January. Sancho gets sold during the next summer. Listen, if he does not hit the certain level, I think he'll be gone.
Mulia says Flexi Sancho agenda is so obvious. Should be strip him to the goalpost and whip him like Chris Kente, saying you're not the like.
What?
Is that what you're saying, Flex? Is that what you're saying? Is this what you're saying? You know are you trying to say bring Cristiano Ronaldo back? Is that what you're saying?
Madness. And you know what? I just remember when we was all on one page saying back the manager over any player, no more player FC. And we've got a player who's publicly could come out and saying the manager's lying and moving all mad and saying all this stuff. And we're just like, yeah, but we got a game against Brighton. We need players. Am I missing?
Or when he did the thing with Ronaldo or Rashford, we all celebrate. Tell you what, this is what this club needs: discipline.
Yeah,
this club needs some discipline.
Bruno was doing an interview. Bruno did an interview, and said, me and David De Gea were on the bus on the way to Molineux, and we went, he left out Rashford. We need this guy. He's our best player.
Yeah,
he's actually being serious. What message does it send if one time Eric Ten Hag did A and the next time he does B? People like Bruno, Casemiro, all the players will be like, it just shows that if the circumstances fit what's going on, you can get away with it.
And it's not for a player. It's not like it was Marcus Rashford last season. It's a player that isn't playing well anyway. I mean, I could maybe understand it if he was our best player. And it's like, look, if we don't have Jadon Sancho in the team, we're not winning. And again, you can say, Sancho agenda all you want, but I mentioned it last weekend when the news came out, when people looked at the team sheet and they went, Sancho, he's not in the first 11. Sancho is not on the bench. Everyone went, I wonder where Sancho is. But nobody thought, we're not winning today because Jadon Sancho is not in the squad. It's an indictment on his career at United at the moment that with the highest paid player, if he's not in the squad, we go, something must be going on.
I think also
miss him.
I'm gonna get to super chats in 2 seconds, and it's all yours, Rich. Yeah, I'll just say before I get to super chats. Yeah, and I'm not even saying I don't want there to be a pathway back for Sancho. I'm not even saying he should never play for the club again. I'm not saying strip him of the badge, kick him out the club. I'm not saying anything like that. There absolutely needs to be a pathway back. This is 70 whatever plus million player. He's the highest paid player. We need to find a solution to this because Ten Hag doesn't fancy him. But I'm just saying, come on, man, you can't just show that that's okay and be back in the next match day squad. Casemiro said, the floor's yours after this, Rich. Wolfrey says, Casemiro says Sancho is the best in training and he's been good from pre-season. Ten Hag needed a scapegoat after another away day L. Because Casemiro says that now it doesn't matter what the manager says. We just go with what.
And also, the first question wasn't in the press conference. Is how did you lose that game against Arsenal? He went, Jadon Sancho has not been training well enough. That's why. He didn't know what to say that.
Idra Tem says, who's a better footballer out of KG and Jadon? I think that should be. Is it Jadon? Jadon. Good for you to clarify. WJ Barrett says, mark my words. Sancho will apologise on Twitter, and then he will start the next match. Facundo can't do this on his own, and Eric Ten Hag ain't stupid. I think Eric Ten Hag ain't soft, and I think he's going to stick to his guns. I'm going to say I don't think he's going to be in the matchday squad against Brian. I don't think he will.
I think the poll is.
I'll put a poll.
Put a poll.
I think wait, but Owen, I think the poll is: would you be disappointed if Ten Hag doesn't? Because that's the question right now. Would you be
the question? The big question is he going to be in there? The big question is whether he can be in there.
He won't be in there. Players, I'm sensing a shift in terms of the fans and their feelings towards Ten Hag. Will you be disappointed in Ten Hag if he punishes Sancho? Because now you can see. I don't know if it's a quiet minority. Sorry, a loud minority. But there's something happening within the fan base in terms of how they feel about the manager or questioning what the manager's trying to do, how he's trying to build this team. It just feels
but they haven't. But that hasn't been there. That's been with tactics, substitutions. Everyone's always been behind Ten Hag in terms of managing the attitude and reprimanding players. Nobody is once.
Not on this Sancho thing. This is the first time I've ever seen a shift with the fan base in terms of some people are like, it's disgusting what Ten Hag's doing to Sancho. It's weird, bro. There's a weird vibe. And it's hard for me to understand because I'm like, if we're talking about one of the prolific players in the team, I'd understand it. But we're talking about someone that just hasn't been involved.
He's peripheral.
But I'm saying it shouldn't matter. I'm saying if this was Bruno or if this was Casemiro, I'm saying if this was bloody Rashford, which we've seen, but to this level, anyone in the whole squad from squad number 1 to bloody 50, whatever, if you come out and say this against the manager, fine, and you don't play until we agree. I don't care who it is. That's what my point is. I don't care if it's someone who's been crap or someone who's been our highest goal scorer. I'm saying the standards are the standards, the rules are the rules. It doesn't change, and then it also doesn't change because we're now player light because Sancho Anthony's doing his thing. That's what I can't get away from. I'm like, don't change how you deal with the situation depending on the player. That's the whole point of this.
I'm of the old school opinion that feels that like I like that style, but I'm just saying I've just been shocked and surprised by the response.
What do you want to happen? What do you want to happen come Saturday against Brighton? Do you think that he should be in the squad?
Me personally?
Yes,
right now.
Yes.
If they sort it out, I can start him.
How? Sort it out. How? What needs to happen?
Let's say if Sancho apologizes or something, or comes out and says something, or they tell me that it's been sorted out behind closed doors, I'll listen and say, all right, wicked, we're moving. I'm not fussed as this. Okay. This thing has been blown. I believe this thing is just way bigger than it needs to be. I think it's a manager that said, hey, didn't like how you didn't do enough, and I want more from you. He's tried the little arm round him. He's tried all the other stuff. And I think he's gone with this. It's got bigger than it needs to be.
And what made it get bigger than it needs to be?
Because Sancho responded.
Sancho posted,
and he said there's other reasons why I'm not starting, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. There's other things going on. So how's that going to get sorted in one conversation? You can start against Brighton. Like, let's look at what this guy said in the thing. He didn't just say like, "Oh, I'm disappointed. I'm not playing. I'm going to work harder to get back." He said, basically, there's a conspiracy. Don't say I'm not training well enough because I am. I'm being made a scapegoat.
And he hinted at something else, didn't he?
And he hinted at something else. So we're just forgetting it. We're just forgetting. I think we're just like, we need him back. There's players, there's games. Like, I don't think, me personally,
so the same
insinuating something else.
Would you be angry if you see him starting against Brighton?
Yes.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
But then
angry's a strong word. I wouldn't angry means like I'm going, but I don't believe he should be in the matchday squad against Brighton.
You'd worry about the knock-on effect. You'd worry about what message does that send.
I think that sends the wrong message, and I would be disappointed in Ten Hag if he puts him in the squad. That's where I stand. That's what
here's one. What would people like to say about Sir Alex? What would Sir Alex do in this instance? Do you think?
You think you could
dropped
ever?
Easy.
He'd be.
But Ten Hag was never going to play him anyway, guys. Ten Hag was never going to play him anyway, guys.
No, but he would have been on the bench,
standard to play anyway.
You're saying like with the training, like he just wouldn't have been in the squad.
Yeah, he would never be in the squad anyway, guys. He's not been reaching the standard. That's why he's been ushered out the squad already. This guy needs to buckle up his ideas. He's on his way out already. It looked like, because he wasn't even playing games anyway.
I just think our whole point is where we go. We said so many times before Erik ten Hag even played his first game,
we need discipline.
We need standards. We need discipline. We need every single player to go, that is the manager, and what he says goes. Because these players don't get it what it is to wear the shirt. These players are all on social media saying this and saying that. Like, and now we're like, yeah, but if he says sorry, he can play. What's that? What's that?
Nah.
To me, I'm like, you can't do that.
Keep him out the squad.
It really does depend. It really does depend how what Ten Hag sees this, how big Ten Hag sees this issue. Because we think it's big, right? Because of what he said on socials. But does Ten Hag really think is as big as we're saying? And also, we don't really know what rules, and principles goes against what infractions. So it really does depend on how he comes out and says, actually, I don't think it was a big deal. We've spoken about it. We're moving on. Or it was, it was a big deal, and he's going to be out for the next team. But like everybody's been saying, Ten Hag was, I don't think anyway, Sancho's never going to start the game. Maybe he would have been on the bench, yes, because of, we're light up front. But he was never going to start the Brighton game anyway, let's be honest. But then now, when he's not in the squad, it's going to be, oh, did you drop Sancho because of what you said last week? And he's going to have to say yes or no.
Yeah, he will say that. I think Ten Hag will say, we've dealt with it. There are rules. There are things in place. He knows what they are. But someone will press him in the presser, though. So they will say, will he be in the squad again? Is he going to be considered for selection? Someone will say that. They won't just.
It will come out before the press conference, most likely. There'll be a report, probably Thursday, Wednesday, being like with Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to be involved in the Chelsea game. So by the time the press conference comes around, Eric, reports are this. Yes, that's true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think will happen. Let me get these. There's quite a lot of super chats, guys. Carry on. Sancho has to go, otherwise everyone else will know that they can do the same thing and get away with it. P.S. Big up Cam, miss our OT trip, says Ali. Big up to Ali.
Yeah, good man, all the way from Baku in Azerbaijan.
Jeez, wow. Love that. Arsenal's favorite stomping ground, Baku. The Manchukutioner says, El tiempo es facundo. The time is for Kundo. They want to see him. They want to see him. WJ Barrett. Yeah. WJ Barrett says, apology, and he starts. Will happen tomorrow. Okay, we'll see. Wild Free says, can't tell me Johnny Evan trains better than Sancho. Johnny Evan was moving.
He scored for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and he scored
an own goal.
He scored a couple. He scored a couple.
Balance.
Yeah. Ahmed says, big up KG.
Come on.
Zoteng says, so if Ten Hag plays players on training, why did he bench Sancho after that amazing preseason while playing him out of position? He doesn't like Sancho. WJ Barrett says, social media apology is different than face-to-face. And Benji says, remember Rashi being benched whilst on fire, Sancho L. Jay says, KG looking like Bobby Lashley, big up Bobby Lashley, before the WWE money. And Ahmed says, well, now Anthony is out for the foreseeable future. Just stick Facundo in there, or allow Sancho to make up for his massive blunder. Red Brown says, love the DBZ shirt you wore the other day. Oh, the Dragon Ball Z. Who wore that? KG, did you wear one?
I think it was me.
Oh, you wore one, Rich?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like the quality make as well. Where did you get it? I think it was on the Full View. Where did you get it, bro?
If it was the one I think of, it was Uniqlo.
Okay.
But other stores are available. Obviously, Uniqlo aren't paying us to say this.
No one's asking that about KG's vest this evening. No one's asking the same thing about the vest. KG, where'd you get it? Where'd you get the
GTA
vest?
5.
I actually got it. They gave it to me.
It was given to you. Yeah, I was going to say that's given. You got it in lost property. Devil says,
you're an idiot.
Red Devil says, so much drama. I can't do it. Big up, boys. WJ Barry's adamant on this. He said this will be sorted tomorrow and it will be over. He can't let this fester as the media and ex-players are after him. He will smooth this over quick. I do believe there could be a quick solution, but I just think whatever the solution is, it will be, this is the fine. This is how many games you're going to miss. Done. Work harder in training. But he is also, not like everyone you guys have been saying, though, there's the fine and the getting back into the team, but he is also not going to let him back in until he trains well enough. That is
the pin thing is crazy, though. The pin thing is like, I was cool with you, man, but the pin,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anish says, we have to trust Ten Hag to resolve it. We know he's capable. He will reprimand him for sure. He has his rules. I'm with you 100% on that. Owen Stylevice says, Sancho has been MIA for 2 years. If he misses games or not, will anyone notice? KG looking like he's about to fight Jean-Claude Van Damme in the late 80s movie. Pick up the crew and the mods. Santiago, big up to you, bro. Says Sancho shot himself in the foot. He would be starting if he hadn't posted anything. We will see Bruno or Mount as right wing or the youth over Sancho. Yeah, that's true. If he would have just kept he would have literally got a chance now, an extended run as that a lot of people have been asking for him to get. WJ Barrett comes through again. Also been a member for 14 months as well. One of our biggest, most loyal guys out there as well. Big up to you, bro. Says, just wanted to say massive well done to the team. Best content bar none. Keep up the good work. Impartial debate with no bullshit. Well done. Glory United. If you get it. Let's go. We've got Brighton fan in here as well. Be Like Brighton says, Ten Hag out imminent after we beat you lot down.
That's why I need to beat these guys.
Yeah, Brighton already. They're
getting above board right now.
I hear you. David G says, knowing Eric Ten Hag Fernandez will start on the right wing now, and Palestri will come on as 85th minute sub. He's played more for Uruguay than us. LOL, mad. Yeah, that is a Ten Hagism. He'll put Bruno on the right for that game. You know, I could see that because I just don't think he thinks Pelestri's ready yet. I don't think he.
He's been playing for Uruguay. They've got Bielsa as well. Perfect coach at an international level. It's his time. It's Facundo's time.
It is. And look, if he plays rubbish, you got to take him off or whatever. But just give him a chance. Danielle says, Pastor said the most skillful, not the best trainer. There you go.
That's right. How good is this goal from Paul Lucas? He just said, at this point, no news is good news. You know, with Man United, how we you just want to no news.
That's what we got to. All Elite says, I'm going to fire through these and you can carry on. No ramifications, madness. Sancho has a history for this, so why people defending him? We should have he should have shut his mouth, I think. Got his head down and tried to get his form back. WJ Barrett says, this fan base are moving mad at the moment. Sancho FC. The Reckless one says, Ten Hag is doing Sancho dirty. Haven't seen anything from Rashford, Marcel, Anthony, and Garnacho to justify them starting over him. Makes no sense. What, you don't see why Rashford should be starting over? Come on, man. Come on, Reckless. I know you'd called the Reckless one, but come on, bro.
I don't even know.
It's one of the KG's guys.
KG's burner.
No, I don't even know.
No, Yoga Smith says, Jadon Sancho is not the same as Ronaldo, so why should the punishment be the same? And Riri says, will this be the topic of the entire full view? It's been 30 minutes already, and you probably said that half an hour ago. Yeah, sorry, Ray, but yeah, it pretty much has been the same topic. I mean, Riri. So yeah, it probably has been the topic of the whole thing because it's just so opinionated. But we will try move. We will try move it on. Yoga says the last time we were playing well. Right now we are not. Nathan Joseph said, but what if Sancho is telling the truth and there is more going on that we aren't privy to? What would he then be justified to publicly defend himself? I
keep it in house, man.
I just think keep it in house. I mean, and that could go for Eric Ten Hag too. But I just feel like if Ten Hag said he was ill, but he wasn't ill, Sancho could have gone mad. If Ten Hag said he was injured, but he wasn't injured, Sancho could have said, "I'm not injured. You're lying." So what? Like all he could do is answer the question truthfully and say why he didn't pick him. Red Devil says Sancho over Ten Hag is dumb. Let's feed player power. Sancho is the first sub off the bench to not in the squad. KG, where did you get your vest, KG? Where's yours, Owen? Why was KG offering the blue pill last week? I don't know what he's taking. It's not like Sancho will come back into the team and tear it up. Anyway, Ten Hag needs to set an example. So another other player tries it. KG moving like Debo. The Simon charity game needed an all elite 9 like KG. Manchester incarcerated. There you go. And this generation of youth / players don't understand what consequence means.
Well done, Fleck.
Got there in the end.
We can move on to what do you call it? These next couple games, Brighton, Bayern Munich, guys. Do you think we can get 6 points? First thing, that's do you think we're gonna get 6 points?
No.
Oh,
I don't.
Wait, Cam?
Wait. Who are we not beating then? Or what are we not doing? Because we can beat Brighton, and we can sneak away from home at Bayern is the one that's maybe a draw. Yes or no? Yeah, maybe a draw. 4 points.
Took yourself out of that one quick, didn't you, Rich?
Yeah, I did. I really did.
Marcel,
KG, what's the fixtures? Yeah, what's the fixtures, Fleck? What's the fixtures? It's Brighton, then Bayern Munich.
Yeah, he's saying, can we get 6 points out of that?
He's just saying just those two.
Brighton, we can definitely win.
Yeah, no.
Brighton,
Brighton is at home. Brighton is at home, so we should win that.
Man, Marcel, did you hear the sigh?
Do you know what? Bayern Munich away, the way that we played against Arsenal, it shows me that we can force top sides into a mid-block. And when you can force top sides into a mid-block, you've earned a third of the pitch. So you're starting from almost their half slash their last third. And if you can negotiate those spaces from there, you could do all right. But we've seen already against top sides, we're good on their counter attack. Rashford's goal against Arsenal. So if they're playing a high press game, Bayern Munich, and most of the games in their half, we can still be threatening in behind. So there's an opportunity for maybe a draw there, and if you do it right and the defense is right, if Martinez is not, it's about who's available in the back line. If you've still got your strongest defense, your strongest back five, including Onana, then you've got a chance to beat Bayern Munich as well. So I would say it's still positive. There's still positive signs. That game against Arsenal still had a lot of positives to take from it in terms of the build-up phase and in terms of taking the ball and forcing turnovers. So I would say there's an opportunity to pick up 6 points in those two games, yes.
Opportunity. I mean, because it's theoretically possible. Marcel, I tell you what, proper politician answer there. It's theoretically possible. Look, if we went from not beating like any top six side away from home last season and this season so far when it comes to Spurs and Arsenal to winning away at the Allianz Arena in our return to the Champions League, what a statement that would be. Can we beat Brighton at home? Absolutely, of course we can, because we can beat anyone at home. We've proved we can beat anyone at home.
I don't think we can beat
Bayern away. It's a big ask. It's not even necessarily. Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's not even necessarily because Bayern are an unbelievable team, right? Yeah. Obviously, they signed well in the summer. Still under Tuchel, it's a bit. They've started the season quite well. My concern is the atmosphere. Historically, even last season, the only exception was really the new camp, wasn't it? Really, we went there and we played quite well. We didn't lose, but when it's sometimes even in the Premier League as well, we go away from home and there's the crowd, they're proper up for it and they're loud. We just crumble. That's the problem. We just absolutely crumble.
I got a feeling we could go there and do something. Again, you got Højlund Rasmus. He's not going to be easy, man. He's going to be putting it about. Hopefully, Amrabat's in as well. Again, Man United, if we go there organized and the team doesn't break down, you got Cam on here. He knows how we want to go in there and play. There's a way we can go in there and nullify. Actually, Cam, how do we beat Bayern, fam? You must know,
Coach.
Get me on in 10 days' time for a preview, and I've watched a bit of Bayern. And yeah, I'm sure you'll find out. But yeah, it's not looking good right now. We can beat Brighton, but going away, it's going to be tough.
Even the stat man said he can't do it.
Even the stat man.
No, that's not the response you wanted.
we can do it. I think the encouraging thing in terms of going away is that obviously last year we had a lot of players that, particularly in Seville, bottled it under pressure. I think this year a lot of the signings we've made, and pretty much every signing we've made under Ten Hag, in general, the mental side is a massive part of it. Like, they're resilient characters. They've been there, done it. Casemiro is not going to panic at Bayern away. Varane's not going to panic. Onana...
Varane going to play, not panic.
Yeah. Why would you be panicking if you're watching it on TV? I think
Lindelof won't panic, though. He's cold.
No, Lindelof's cold. Onana, Champions League final, biggest game of his career.
Yeah, he won't panic.
Cameroon is probably not going to get to any big major finals. So, yeah, biggest game he'll play is Champions League final. Ice cold, playing 40-yard passes through like 3 lines at once. Pretty confident with him. I think in general the team's more mentally resilient than it has been before. Wan-Bissaka's not going to get flustered whoever he's up against. He's pretty consistent. Dallow's
Sane, right? It'll be Sane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Sane's never know.
Isn't Sane playing more as a 10 now? I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it could be. I think we'll be okay. We're not going to I don't think we'll get smashed. I think we've got more resilient characters in the team now. I think the international break could do us a lot of good because our players have been playing badly enough for a lot of them not to get called up. So they might have actually had some training time to work on what else they've got to fix. So we could see a different team this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Bayern Munich game when they lost in the Super Cup to Leipzig. And they were rubbish that day. And Leipzig were really, really good. And a lot of Leipzig's goals were like counter-attack, swift moves, whatever. And if United play like that, then I think they'll have a chance. But it must be stressed that wasn't the sort of final completed Bayern Munich side because Harry Kane and Kim Min-jae came on in the second half, So I still say, despite the signings they have made this summer, Bayern, which are good signings, I still look at the Bayern under Thomas Tuchel and I still look at it and go, oh, are they still really that good? Are they that much better than they were under Nagelsmann? I don't know how much they are. So United have a chance at that. But when we got drawn against Bayern in the group, everyone went, okay, well, let's win our away games. Let's beat Galatasaray, let's beat Copenhagen, win our home games, and maybe hopefully get maybe get points.
I'm excited about the fixture, though. I'm trying to win the group. What are you lot talking about?
No, I'm saying that. But actually, it's a good point. It's worth pointing out with that. If it is a bad result, and let's face it, it might be. Let's not panic in the end of the world, Erik ten Hag out and all that kind of stuff. Because so far this season, our two negative results, the Spurs one and the Arsenal one, some of the reactions I saw after the Arsenal one, I still can't get over now of this guy's a fraud. He doesn't know what he's doing. And then 5 seconds later, they go, yeah, but he's had to manage a lot. He has had to manage a lot. Think of what he's had to handle over the last, 14 months, however long he's been at Manchester United. Plus, so far this season, I keep saying it because it's true, we haven't played our strongest 11. We still, against Brighton, won't probably play our strongest 11. Against Bayern Munich, most likely, we're not going to be able to play our strongest 11. Once everyone gets back, like Cam said, you do look at the players he has signed and he does get into the side and you go, actually, because you saw it against Arsenal, there were points in time where we go, we haven't seen United play like that. We haven't seen, playing out from the back or, with all of these players. So if that result is negative, and let's face it, it might be, let's still remain calm in the sense of, the sky is not falling. The season is not over. We're not out of the Champions League yet or anything like that, even though it's kind of redundant saying that because I know people will react like that anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. James says Sancho is a bigger failure than Maguire. His arrogance and sheer audacity is ridiculous. Erik ten Hag gave him so much love last season, and then he does this. Jordan says Bayern have one of the best squads in Europe. Only City and maybe Madrid are better. Away from home, we are toast, realistically. Be Like Brighton says, why tactically can you beat Brighton? I'm curious. You can beat us tactically. How are you going to do that?
Because we're Moments FC, and we'll have moments again. We'll always have moments. Yeah,
we're at home.
That's it. That's the tactic.
Old Trafford, mate. Yeah.
No, we can do that. We can definitely do it.
Of course we can beat Brighton.
West Ham showed how to do it the best possible way. The bit that worries me, though, because West Ham basically just sat off and were really
we can't do that at Old Trafford. Yeah.
I think if we try and do that, that's probably the best way on paper. But if we try and do that, the fans will get really frustrated.
Yeah, we have to play and we have to be on it because they can punish you at any
Well, I think we can play. It's just whether we go and press them. And if we don't, then people might get on their backs a bit.
John says, light work, Bayern is trash. We are slapping both Brighton and Bayern. Send a strong message across the Premier League. For me, I think it's
that'd be a wicked thing to do, man.
Oh, it'd be amazing, but I think it's a tough ask against Bayern Munich away. I really, really do. If we could get a draw, great, brilliant. I want to win. I really, really want to win. It would be amazing. We have to take some positives off the Barcelona game. We went there, played. You know what I mean? When we didn't really think we could in a big game, that was a Champions League level tie at the time. And now we're with the big boys. We are one of the big. We want to be considered the big boys. We want to get back to being one.
Do you reckon they'll still say that we still can't win away from home if we win a game in the Champions League, though? Will there still be that thing?
Yeah, they'll run the narrative.
Yeah. You have to do it in the Prem.
Top 9,
you have to do it in the Prem.
Yeah.
We can't beat Bayern Munich and say, see, we are good away from home.
Barcelona, right?
No, we drew.
And by the way, I think it's about doing it against the top 6 away from home as well. It's about winning that away fixture against the top 6. Yeah. Because that's where the pressure is. But again, like Owen's been saying, or what he mentioned, is that there's positives. I think there's a positive from that game. It wasn't a 3-1 game, and we showed good patterns of build-up in our half. And then when we're talking about in their third as well, we forced turnovers. With the way that we set up that front 5, we forced turnovers. So it's just that midfield, which you can clearly see, which everyone's seen on the first 4 games, is an issue. He's got to get it to work within the mid-block. From the mid-block, he's got to be able to figure out a way for the midfielders to be able to get the ball into the forwards and be able to be focused on the defensive transition. We've seen Rashford twice be shocking in the defensive transition this season. Once against Forest Awani, against Arsenal as well. So the players need to be focused on the defensive transition, and we need to be able to attack from the mid-block because that's what's going to happen against the top teams. They can't beat us in our third. When you add Onana into that 3-1-6, making it a 4, they can't get the ball off us. So it's about just progressing with the midfield, how the midfield become functional.
Was there any more Amrabat there?
Yeah, Amrabat, if he's ready. I mean, there's rumours that Facundo can actually cross the ball. So maybe if Højlund plays up front, he might actually get some service.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. That's part of it too. Hey, here's a question for you. Who got, if I'm correct in this one, who got the assist for Wout Weghorst's goal at Old Trafford?
Yeah, he ran past like 3 people, but it hit off someone before it got to him.
It all counts. It all counts.
Look at Owen doing the extra. But he did well to keep that move alive, though. I remember seeing
exactly, and got the ball across goal.
Yeah, and we were all saying, "Well done." That's what we.
If you can assist Wout Weghorst at Old Trafford, then you can do it for Rasmus. You can. Okay, we've seen the impossible.
Remember this: after we win, the ops will say it's only Bayern. No one can say that one. You can't say it's only Bayern. You can't say it's only Bayern for true if we win. But I'm worried about that game. I just think mentality wise, I am mentality wise. It is a difficult place to go to.
But if you're not worried though, this is a flex.
But you were excited at the same time, flex. Absolutely. But you were excited at the same time. It's absolutely let's
like I was against the Barca one.
Yeah.
When I was annoyed that the way we drew Barca because I knew it would happen. I got angry on the stream. But in the way that when we got up to it, I was like, this is Barca. Especially when we got there, KG. Innit? When we got in the new code, this is playing Barcelona. It's annoying. It's annoying that this is a shitty Europa League playoff game. Feels like it's like Champions League round of 16 is what it felt like. But it wasn't. But we proved that we can go and mix it there and show a bit of character, which I remember sitting we were sitting there, KG, in the new cup. We was like, we're playing good. We should be beating it. Like, and when we went 1-0 down from that corner,
should have got a penalty in that game.
We were like, how that they don't even deserve that. And then to come down from that at 2 to get it to 2-1. And then they scored that lucky Lewandowski, you know what I mean, when they crossed it in. Was it Rafinha crossed it and then it hit off? Kind of Lewandowski got it. But, we should have won. We should have won. We could have won. But I don't know. I'm not too sure. Just before we go, guys, I will say, what are we at? We had nearly 3,000 people watching. It's a little bit less now. Still not even 500 likes, guys. Ooh. I know it's been an intriguing show. You know what I mean? But come on, man. Also, on the poll, I'm going to end it now. But will Jadon Sancho be in the United squad versus Brighton? Only 32% of people said yes, he will. 68% said no, he won't. So that's the thinking of the chat. You asked the question, KG, put it to the chat. And the chat, to be fair, doesn't mean they agree with it. The question was, do you think he will be? So that means the chat are suggesting that Erik ten Hag won't be having it and there won't be a way that he can play against Brighton. So we'll have to wait and see. Big up everyone. Big up KG. Big up Cam. Big up Rich. Big up to Marcel and big up to Owen. Tomorrow morning, morning view. Me and Owen will be going through the latest news, whatever's going on over tonight and into the morning. We'll keep you posted across that as the internationals. Beginning of the week, one more game usually for a lot of guys and get them back for a lead up to 2 big games, man, because it is going to be, it's business. It's already getting business end, isn't it? It really is. Yeah. And
I'm live tomorrow as well.
Big up. Make sure you catch KG. Make sure you catch KG live as well. Yeah. Reckless breakfast settings, 100%. Absolutely. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you again soon.
Big up.